I want to give you a little additional information about the digital ethnography. So ethnography is a qualitative research method that uses participant observation, survey, questionnaire, and interview. The ethnographer joins the community, participates in the activities, engages with a member of that community, and takes really careful notes of what he or she observes in a field journal. And this is where your things like survey and interview and questionnaires would come into play as well. Ethnographers need to behave ethically towards their research subjects. You cannot misrepresent yourself to this community. So you'll represent yourself and your motives honestly to the members of the community and let them know that you're interested in researching them for a college-level class on digital cultures. Ask permission to conduct the research. Ask permission to join the community. Maintain the community members' anonymity if they request it. Use only material that you have permission to use or that is already openly available online. And in some cases, ethnographic researchers will also involve the community in the project by offering to let the community respond to the work and even contribute to it. As an ethnographer, you'll want to research a community that's rich in resources, active, and interesting to study. So in terms of resources, you want to see that they have blogs, chat rooms, forums, discussion boards, Facebook pages, Flickr accounts, YouTube channels, Dig or Delicious accounts, so that there are a number of places where members are meeting to share ideas and to create things, and there are a number of different places where they can do that. As an ethnographer, you'll also want to make sure that the community is active. So they should have a really good percentage of very active members. They should have also a good supply of somewhat active members. It's not the type of place where people just come for a day and then leave. If the last post to a forum discussion or discussion board was 1 to 2 weeks or 2 to 3 months ago, it's probably not a very active community. By contrast, if a discussion spurs new posts every hour or so, they're probably pretty active and going to be a pretty interesting and fruitful community to research. Interesting is also important, and sometimes it's not quite as obvious as you might think. You have obviously interesting groups like Star Trek fans, who were made famous in the ethnographic movie Trekkies, good one to watch. But then you might have a boring group that's suddenly made interesting by an interesting turn of events. So Charlie Sheen's fan sites might have been really boring a few weeks ago, but I bet they're pretty interesting to observe these days. You want to find demographic information about the group. How many members are there? Their sex, race, age, careers, and education levels, if that can be determined. You want to know something about the history of the community. Have they always been online? How did they come about? Who created the online community? How is it maintained? How did they communicate in the past? How is this site where they meet changed over the years? And I'll show you how to access that information. What controversies, if any, have they encountered over the years? In terms of social controls, you want to know how they manage discussions, how they manage members, how they deal with members' identities, how they deal with things like trolls on discussion boards, their rules that are written or unwritten for online behavior, their social motivations. Why did they join? Why do people stay? What do? They create or discuss together. How do they celebrate successes or mourn failures or tragedies? Are there any sort of interesting stories about members meeting? Do they have their own jargon, their own shorthand language, inside jokes or memes? In terms of their avatars, how do members actually represent themselves online? What space is there for member introductions, for them to have their own pages? Can members form subgroups, and have these subgroups ever broken off from the main community to form their own bigger groups? And in terms of researching, you want to, again, ask permission to join. You can post discussion questions on the board, email individual members who are pretty active to ask them a couple of questions, email the site's creators, observe and participate for the next few weeks, and it might be that you want to divide up the observations by your group members. Other places for research, you could Google them. Check library databases. Look up Wikipedia entries about the group. Check the Wayback Machine, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Look to see if they have Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, or YouTube accounts and what's going on at those various accounts. The main point is to have fun with this, and if you guys have fun with it, then we'll have fun learning about